We live in a world where sweeteners, both natural and artificial, sit quietly inside almost everything. And while most of us use them without thinking, the idea that calorie-free equals consequence-free has guided our choices for decades. To understand the mystery behind modern sweeteners, you have to go back to the beginning.
This video is made for educational and informational purposes only.
Imagine standing in your kitchen, reaching for something labeled sugar-free, believing you're making the healthier choice, yet unaware that this simple habit might, according to some emerging research, be associated with changes in gut bacteria, hunger signals, and metabolic responses. But science is still exploring what that means for you. We live in a world where sweeteners, both natural and artificial, sit quietly inside almost everything. Protein bars, diet colas, flavored yogurt, even healthy juices. And while most of us use them without thinking, some studies published in journals like Nature and Cell have raised questions worth exploring, though researchers emphasize these findings are still evolving. A story suggesting that sweetness, even without calories, may carry consequences we never saw coming. The idea that calorie-free equals consequence-free has guided our choices for decades. But today, with diabetes, obesity, and gut disorders on the rise, researchers are re-examining that assumption from multiple angles. To understand the mystery behind modern sweeteners, you have to go back to the beginning. Humans have always chased sweetness. Ancient civilizations worshipped honey. Sugarcane plantations reshaped economies. But by the 19th century, sugar became so cheap and widespread that its dark side emerged: weight gain, tooth decay, and metabolic problems. Scientists, desperate to find a guilt-free sweetness, created alternatives. Saccharin in 1879, aspartame in 1981, sucralose by the end of the century. These compounds delivered intense sweetness, hundreds of times stronger than sugar, with almost no calories. It felt like magic. Meanwhile, natural sweeteners like stevia, monk fruit, and allulose started appearing in the 2000s, promising a clean, plant-based solution. People assumed natural meant safe and artificial meant dangerous. But as research has revealed, the truth is far more complicated. Because every sweetener, whether from a lab or a leaf, behaves differently in the body. Some alter gut bacteria, some raise blood sugar, some affect appetite hormones, and some do almost nothing at all. When you look closer, the contrast becomes striking. Natural sweeteners, such as stevia, monk fruit, coconut sugar, jaggery, allulose, and honey come from plants, sap, or minimally processed sources. They contain small nutrients or antioxidants, but their glycemic impact varies wildly. Meanwhile, artificial sweeteners like aspartame, sucralose, and ACE-K contain 0 calories and offer extreme sweetness, but they can interact with gut microbes in ways scientists are still trying to decode. What the public sees as a simple choice, natural or artificial, turns out to be a complex biological negotiation inside the body. The emerging sweeteners tell an even more fascinating story. Allulose, a rare sugar found in tiny amounts in figs and raisins, tastes like sugar but barely affects blood glucose. Early studies even suggest benefits for fat metabolism. Monk fruit, used in Chinese medicine for centuries, delivers sweetness through antioxidant-rich compounds called moghrosides, and remains one of the safest natural zero-calorie options. Then there's erythritol, the sugar alcohol once celebrated for its keto-friendly properties. Everything seemed perfect until a 2023 observational study published in Nature Medicine found an association between high blood erythritol levels and potential cardiovascular risk, though researchers noted this does not prove causation. Scientists quickly clarified that typical daily intake is much lower, but the study served as a reminder. Even seemingly harmless sweeteners have layers we don't fully understand yet. The truth isn't that a sweetener is good or bad, it's how much you use, how often, and in what form. Look closer at how these sweeteners shape your body. Stevia and monk fruit score well for gut health and blood sugar. Allulose appears promising, but goes through moderate processing before reaching store shelves. Honey, maple syrup, jaggery, and date sugar contain minerals and antioxidants, but they still raise blood glucose, sometimes sharply. Brown and white sugar sit at the bottom of the health spectrum, highly refined, nutrient-poor, and tough on the gut. The more you explore, the clearer the pattern becomes. Sweetness isn't just a taste. It's a biological signal, and not all signals lead to the same metabolic destination. But nature also offers sweetness built directly into whole foods, options that don't just sweeten, but nourish. Raisins bring fiber and iron. Dates offer potassium and antioxidants. Mangoes contain digestive enzymes. Custard apples provide B6, which may uplift mood. Strawberries deliver low GI sweetness with vitamin C and fiber. Even high GI fruits like watermelon still hydrate and supply lycopene with minimal calories. These foods don't act like added sugar. They come packaged with nutrients, water, and fiber, the things your body evolved to process.
For people with diabetes, the picture is more nuanced. Many turn to artificial sugars as a lower sugar option, but emerging research suggests the story may be more complex.
But newer research shows they may influence gut bacteria or metabolic responses over time. Natural zero-calorie sweeteners, stevia, monk fruit, and allulose have become more trusted because they have almost no impact on insulin. Still, moderation remains key. Even coconut sugar and honey must be used sparingly. Whole fruits can work well, especially low GI ones, but portion size matters.
According to nutrition experts, the right sweetener may depend on individual health goals. Those managing blood sugar closely often favor stevia or monk fruit, but always consult your doctor or registered dietitian for personalized guidance. Moderate management may allow small amounts of natural sugars, and for pre-diabetes, low GI fruits and minimal jaggery are often suggested by nutritionists. Individual needs vary.
Labels must be inspected carefully, because even sugar-free products often contain carbs or starches that spike blood glucose without warning. Then there's the hidden war behind cravings. Most people think sweet cravings come from love of taste, but they often stem from dehydration, low protein intake, sleep deprivation, or unstable hunger hormones. Simple lifestyle shifts, more water, better sleep, protein-rich meals, and spices like cinnamon can dramatically reduce the need for extra sweeteners. Sometimes the best solution isn't choosing a better sweetener, but needing less sweetness in the first place.
And all of this unfolds within a shifting regulatory landscape. In July 2023, WHO's IARC classified aspartame as possibly carcinogenic to humans, the same category as aloe vera extract and pickled vegetables, meaning evidence exists but is limited and not conclusive, igniting global debate. Yet agencies like the FDA, EFSA, and FSSAI reviewed the same evidence and concluded that aspartame remains safe within established acceptable daily intake levels, highlighting how health agencies can interpret data differently. Some health institutions, including Harvard Health Publishing, suggest a precautionary approach for certain groups, particularly children and pregnant women, pending more long-term research.
The mixed messages reveal something important. The science is evolving and regulations are trying to catch up. So how does an ordinary person transition away from excessive sugar? Small but strategic swaps. In baking, a little stevia or monk fruit replaces large amounts of sugar. In drinks, lemon and mint mixed with a pinch of stevia or even soaked raisins can offer natural sweetness. Chutneys and desserts blend beautifully with date paste or jaggery. Energy bites can rely entirely on blended dry fruits.
Even public figures have joined the conversation around sweeteners and diet. But remember, what works for a celebrity may not be right for your individual health needs. Halle Berry, who has spoken publicly about living with diabetes, has mentioned stevia as part of her personal approach, but individual diabetes management should always be guided by a qualified healthcare provider. Chef Jamie Oliver has publicly advocated for reducing refined sugar in family meals, often suggesting alternatives like honey or fruit, a view many nutritionists support, though individual dietary needs vary.
Whether tech leaders, actors, or chefs, many of them echo the same warning: sugar hides everywhere, and understanding sweeteners is no longer optional. By the time you finish this journey, one truth stands out. Sweetness is no longer a simple pleasure. It's a science, and every choice you make sends signals throughout your body. Not all sweeteners are villains, and not all are heroes. But the most powerful tool you have is awareness. The next time you taste something sweet, you'll understand not just the flavor, but the story behind it.
This video is for educational and informational purposes only and does not constitute medical advice. Always seek the advice of a qualified healthcare provider regarding any medical condition or treatment.